Hello, hello. How's everybody doing?
You don't want to get demonetized?
I'd rather not.
You don't want to get. Should I start my
early for
recording,
that.
E? Should I start my
Hold
recording?
on.
All right.
A sec. You can start it in like 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. You can record.
Go.
Cool.
Audio checks for everybody. How we sounding? How we doing? How we looking? I think we.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, hello. What's up, Kevin? New Rad, Bill, Clemson, back from the dead. Hello, sir.
Back. What up, bro?
I go blank. Put the lime in the coconut. Nice. My wife and I just got done rewatching Bones, and that song actually comes up a couple times.
Oh, that show is unwatchable.
Ooh.
Well,
That is just a trash tier television show. Dog water, I would say.
Oh, damn. I never heard about this. I never watched it.
Oh, it's not good. Do not watch
not
it.
a show for you, apparently. So.
Oh my
Really?
god, dude! Is it a show for anyone? Would be my question. Are there people that
Clearly, he sounded like he was watching it and enjoying it.
my god,
Maybe.
dude.
Possibly.
My wife and I have watched the whole thing. So.
Okay.
Wow.
So he's a fan. Mhm.
It's endurance there.
Endurance.
I only saw like out of the corner of my eye my
Mhm.
girlfriend watching that show, and I was just like, dude, this is.
Did she watch it?
Oh my god! Yeah, she watched the whole thing, but she loves trash TV, and she knew it was trash while she was watching it. So she was like, "Yeah, this is like
Okay. Did you guys
unacceptable."
watch, okay.
Yeah.
Did you watch Castle?
She did watch Castle, and I watched several of that episodes.
I enjoyed both. Castle,
Castle is better.
Castle's better. Yeah, I enjoyed.
It
Castle.
has better writing. Some of the actors aren't cringy, and Nathan Fillion is sort of the star of that show. Whereas, like, I don't know who the star of the show in Bones is supposed to be, but I would vote for none of them.
And Emily Deschanel are the two main ones.
I don't even know who those people
Yeah,
are.
that's fine.
But
That's not for you.
I can tell you that they should not have a career.
The more time we spend around Travis, we realize how high his nose gets turned up to some
very,
things
very
sometimes.
opinionated.
Yes,
And,
yes.
you know, when he doesn't feel something, he
Yeah.
don't feel it.
Okay. I have not watched.
Don't put it like I'm like highfalutin. It's just that show isn't good. Look, I'm a big advocate for Fast and Furious. Is that the most highbrow thing ever?
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
but it's great. But it's great.
great.
And
See,
Destiny,
everybody can have
same
their
thing.
opinions. Yes.
Is
Everybody has an
Destiny
opinion.
is Destiny the champagne of games? No,
No.
it's a little corny. It's got rough edges, but I like it. But Bones is irredeemable. Like, what can you say about that show that is
Damn, I wish I watched it.
You should. It's really
not,
bad.
It's not as bad as he's saying. My God.
It's so bad, dude. It's so bad.
I want to watch just to know why he's disgusting.
I watched. Okay, so I've only seen certain episodes, but one of the ones I've seen is one where it starts in a like school cafeteria, and then somebody's eating chili, and they find like human parts in the chili, and then it like cuts. This is such a stupid show.
I mean, basically,
it cuts
based
to like
around
the
idea.
factory.
She's a forensic anthropologist, and then she ends up starting to solve murders with an FBI contact. And her knowledge of like forensic anthropology and like knowledge of bones allows them to solve older murders. And
it's a procedural crime show where they have to shoehorn bones into every episode because that's all the main character knows about. And so in this episode, she has to solve the fact that somebody's bones were put into stew into cans of chili.
Yeah, I think
it is so bad.
I vaguely
dude.
remember that being an episode. That's a thing.
It is so bad. But yeah, that's like maybe I've only seen terrible episodes, but just out of my eye, I was like, oh god, this is hard to watch. Castle I can get on board with though.
Castle was good. Castle was good.
The chat likes Castle. Shout out to Teddy. They said they just do get us Californians. We have real standards.
Standards. Yeah, you guys are living the high life out there.
Yeah.
Highfalutin.
I think Teddy is referencing the fact that Ebontis's wife Summer hated me and Teddy. She does not like us as people because when she hates me because when we were at Florida, we were having a terrible time and we're just like knocking against all the food and the people and just everything about Florida. And she was just looking at us like, wow, these pretentious douchebags from California coming here, acting like they're better than everyone. But
California bougie.
I don't blame her because that entire trip I was thinking to myself, wow, am I a pretentious like douchebag? Like, am I just the worst person ever?
You had that moment where you
because I consider
you have
myself
a little
I
self-realization.
consider myself down to earth, but not in Florida. Apparently, in Florida, I'm a coastal elite. I guess I don't know.
Coastal elite. I love this. I can't wait to go back to the Bay, man. See you in your natural habitat.
Oh yeah.
So you guys actually want to officially start the show here?
Yeah, let's start the show.
Yeah,
let's
should
go.
we?
All right,
Yeah.
5, 4.
All right, and we are live. The last word, LordCognito, Ebontis, Ty Guy, Travis. That Thursday evening campfire goodness is back. Let's start off with Ebontis, the cheetah. How we doing, sir?
We'll shout out to our first super chat of the night, $2 from Zeno1121. Lovecraft Country owns all. That is actually the Lovecraft show that I couldn't think of. What was it? I think HBO maybe. Yeah, I remember that being a thing. No, got just been kind of a busy week. Still, getting up a little early, walking all 3 of our dogs early in the morning because, man, I was just standing outside as we have that, new 1-year-old dog and trying to walk them, but I was just standing outside, letting them outside. And at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we're cooking down here in Texas, but I think the whole country is right now. Everybody's pretty much on fire, unless maybe you live in San Francisco. I don't know what your guys' weather is like right now, but Florida
62 degrees.
Oh, screw
you,
man.
And with a cold breeze. It's always 62 here. Yeah.
Wow.
We don't have seasons. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
Salute.
What do you got, E? What's your forecast?
I was like, I'm literally looking it up. It's one of those where it's 101 for a high and the heat index is like 107. The problem with Dallas is when we get to a summer like this, every so often we'll have ones where it's a little less or a little more. But the idea is the low is 80. So if you want your house to be a reasonable temperature, the AC never turns off. I mean, it'll kind of do its like cycling off and on thing, but the low is 80. It doesn't get below that.
My God. That honestly, if it ever was 101 degrees in San Francisco, I would move that day. I would be packing my bags. I cannot deal with that weather. I think the hottest it's ever been here is like 78, and that was really uncomfortable. Also, people who live in other places find it super weird that I don't have an air conditioner in my house.
No, that's
because I've never needed one. In fact, you're not even allowed to have an air conditioner in my neighborhood because it's considered a waste of energy, because I live surrounded by the ocean at all sides. So if it's cold or if it's too warm, I just open a window and you get ocean breeze.
Ocean breeze.
Cool.
Yeah. Completely pointless, but
I mean that would be nice. Whew. But yeah, here in the middle, I mean that's the other thing too, is you get more and more like concrete and streets and everything. It's just like the whole area just soaks in heat and then it just keeps it. So the whole area is just this cycle of heat that rotates. So we'll see if the electric grid holds up. But I've been playing some Destiny, got the new story in, got my big guide out for Duality. If you guys haven't seen that one, I went through for the everyman build. There are faster ways to do it, but I went through with all legendaries. So if I can do it with my crappy loadout, you guys can do it with a lot of better stuff. So that was good. Thank you guys for the bobblehead video views. Those have been just slightly popping off. They're short and sweet, but little collectibles.
Really? Yeah, I didn't know you were doing that.
Yeah, just about the collectibles every week. The bobblehead and the automaton. Just they've actually been pretty well. But
no callous joint doing good.
Yeah, those are not bad. And then other than that, I'm just trying to find a time to balance with the dog, and then I want to get back into just some of the other variety stuff because I'm trying to get some of that stuff in because I saw a tweet today of what October looks like, and October looks like it's going to be a pretty stacked month in there as well. So I'm looking forward to a lot. Also work on scheduling us some fun guests. You guys will. I might get. Yeah, might get a schedule out. If I can get like all the way through July scheduled, I got one more slot to fill. If I get that filled, I'll get you guys a schedule out. And we got a lineup coming up for like the next 5 or 6 weeks. I got a couple others in the works, so a lot of good ones coming. So make sure you guys spread the word. Big guests. Very excited about some of these we got coming up for you guys. So that's mostly what I've been working on. Travis, you burning the candle at every end possible to write reviews and games, yeah?
I am, yeah. I've got a whole bunch of IGN content coming up. My review of Outriders World Slayer is going to be live on Monday morning.
I started a little preview there too.
Yeah, I did the preview. Finished it over the weekend, and yeah, it's too bad you weren't free. I had extra codes you could have played with me, but anyway, we got through that game, and it was a lot of fun. So that'll be on Monday. And then I've got also on Monday a preview of Endless Dungeon. It's going to be coming out, which is a roguelite tower defense type of game from the makers of Dungeon of the Endless and stuff like that. Yeah, so that one was pretty cool. And then got some more previews coming up. And then my next review that I'm working on is Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which is doesn't come out for a month, so I've got a lot of time to work on it. But it is going to be a monster, a monster of a game. And for those of you who don't know my history with the Xenoblade franchise, I really like the franchise, but I do not like it enough, according to the Xenoblade community, who flame me every time I talk about it.
Are you supposed to give it like 9.5s or something?
It's got to be a 10 out of 10, or you're a heretic. I gave the Xenoblade Chronicles 1 an 8.
That's
an 8. Which is like high for me, especially.
For you. Yeah, that seems pretty solid.
And they were not happy with me.
I mean, do they expect you just to like disregard anything? I mean, you seem generally fairly fair with your reviews from what I've seen. I mean, if you're gonna have a craptacular game, you're gonna give it a 2 or a 3. It's gonna be. I don't know if you. Do you have a game that you would give a 10? I'm actually curious what that would be. Because for
none
you, your
I've reviewed.
standards,
yeah,
your standards
I've never.
High, I think.
I've certainly never reviewed a game that was a 10. Like, if you let me review my favorite games, like if I reviewed Elden Ring, maybe that would be a 10, you know?
Okay.
That's like a masterpiece level game. But I don't really know. I've never been put in that position, so it's really hard for me to say. I can say that of all the games I've reviewed, which include hundreds of games, and not just for IGN, like previously, and I have reviewed some like really high-profile games in the past, I've never given a 10 or the equivalent of a 10 at any other outlet.
I do appreciate IGN's distinction where it's like it's a masterpiece. They never say perfect, which is fair. Like nothing's going to be perfect, but I mean, 8's solid. They just want it to be like 9.5, just very
exactly. Yeah, and IGN doesn't do decimals, so it's either a 9 or a 10. We used to, but I actually think that was a good move to not do it.
Couple questions about World Slayer. So Outriders World Slayer comes out the 30th.
Technically, it comes out on the 28th.
Oh yeah, if you pre-order,
have the pre-order version, you can get early access. Yep. That's important to note because it's sort of a tricky thing that developers / publishers do, where they say the game's out one day, but they actually sell it to you earlier and yada yada. So. Yep. The review is available on the 27th before the game officially goes out. So you should read it then if you're one of the people who is planning on playing on the 28th. Yeah. Just in case you read my review and go, wow, I absolutely don't want to do this. So yeah. But Xenoblade Chronicles, man, I love the franchise, but I got absolutely flamed with my last review. So hopefully this will go better. But if it doesn't, I don't really care. That's my philosophy.
You're allowed to, literally a review is one person's opinion. That's
yeah.
It's like,
and to what you were
look at multiple people.
Yeah, to what you were saying, E, like I do like to think that I'm fair. I think that the JRPG genre, there's certain things that if you're a fan of JRPGs, people assume that you are able to just like hand wave certain problems.
Right.
Like if there's a certain thing that JRPGs do that's annoying, and you point out that that's annoying, people will say, "Oh, well, that's part of the genre," and I do not give them a pass on that stuff, right? Like in Persona 5, the fact that you have to go to a save point to save the game and you can't save at any time. Some people go, oh, well, that's like classic JRPG. And I go, well, it's stupid. A classic JRPG mechanic can also be dumb, right? And so
I like me with Elden Ring.
Yeah. And so, I mean, there's stuff like that. It's just because it's part of the genre doesn't mean it is free from critical observation. Yeah. And so, I pointed at things, I think, in my original Xenoblade Chronicles review where people were like, wow, this guy just doesn't get it, right? Because he points out things that are part of the genre we love. But sorry, man, I'm not gonna support bad game design.
Somebody's got to be the villain, Trav. It's
for sure.
Better than you.
I mean, what's the one person's got to review Breath of the Wild as a 9, right? As opposed to everybody who gave it a 10. So.
Yeah,
or a 6.
There's probably some 9s out there.
There's probably like a 6 out there, and that person just got.
You think so? Breath of the Wild?
I don't know. There's probably one person just to like mess with everybody. You never know. But what about you, Cog? What have you been up to?
Yeah. Well, besides not feeling well, trying to fight some stuff, but a lot. What's been going on? Duke obviously been killing it with that. Me and Maddie been in pocket with a lot of stuff. We got a Japanese kind of like a JRPG focus of what Microsoft's been doing on that front. That's up on Ultimate. That's up now. That was a good episode. We did Duke yesterday. Maddie has some interesting Bathroom habits. There's a big debate about that. Go check that out.
Oh, I finally listened to that. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh God, yeah. We've now hit another
I was
chamber.
like, I understood what he said.
Me too.
Like physically, I understood what he said, but I also
break it down.
Also, well, I'm not going to go through all the detail. You got to go listen to it for that one. But I was like, yeah,
what is it? I'm completely out of the loop.
It's his like bathroom habits, and it was just the way, just his like process of using the facilities was something I don't think I've heard and or thought of doing. And I'm just I was like very confused trying to.
Is he one of those guys who fully takes off his pants and sits on the toilet backwards?
I've even heard of that.
Do you know about this?
I've heard of that one. I feel like I've heard of that in a movie
do it
or something.
so they can rest. They can rest on the top of the toilet.
They take a number. What, they take a number 2 the other way around so they can lay on the tank or something.
They can lay on the
tank and kind of just look at your phone and chill. I know about that, but it requires you to fully take off your pants and underwear, which seem really like you're.
It's got to be a home setting.
Surrounding. That has to be a home setting.
Yeah, that has to be home.
Oh yeah, no way you're doing that in a public restroom.
That's where I came into question with certain things with other people. But anyway, so go check that out. It's a fun one. As far as games, started up Ninja Turtles. We're probably going to do a stream with the Lords on Saturday. Did the 6-player classic, retro
question
vibe.
on that one.
What's up? Yes.
Ninja Turtles. Listening to different people's like thoughts on that one. I know you're a huge Streets of Rage 4 guy. That one hit you in the feels, was like really good. I knew you enjoyed that one. How does this hold up in comparison?
You gotta be, to be honest. All right, I'm gonna take my bias.
You can't do like Travis's thing where like, hey, it's just a beat 'em up, so we're gonna give it, all these little extra caveats.
Take my bias out. Look, it's an antiquated formula. We know that. Like this is the spiritual successor for one of the greatest beat 'em ups of all time, which is Turtles in Time in the arcade, right? Yeah. So if you look at it from that lens, yes, it's doing what it's doing. But if you look at it at a modern lens, like it's the most simple, beat 'em up.
That sounds about what I heard then. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard the pixel art and the styling was really cool and the soundtrack hit jams, but it was like functionality. People were just saying like it still feels, so what you said sounds
it's old school. Okay. Yeah, this is old school. This is a timepiece that they gave a lot of love to and nostalgia up the wazoo for everyone who wanted this game. Because what it is they've butchered Turtle games after time. Like a lot of Turtle games were not good. And people are like, if you just do this and then slightly modernize it, you'll be good. And that's what it is. So I've been doing that. Played a little bit of
Agreed, by the way. That game's awesome.
Yeah, it's so much fun. Naraka Blade Point, I was in that beta for them. Kind of like it's interesting, the battle royal, but melee combat.
Yeah, I've seen it kind of like I saw a couple people do streams and stuff. It's been beta or not quite final released for a while now.
A lot of traversal, absolutely fun, and I think they got something. A lot of potential there. I want to play a little bit more. And the last one is I've been playing Demio crazy, bro. Like Demio is just
VR.
Bro, it is like, I know you just can't because you're a meta. Of course you're gonna say, of course, bro. I'm telling you right now, I'm very particular with my turn-based. Turn-based is one of my favorite genres. And prior to Demio, I would say as far as the new on the scene turn-based, I'll probably say Phoenix Point and probably Gears Tactics were two of them. Like as far as new entries in the genre, XCOM is like the GOAT for me, right? Yeah. And shout out to Bife. Me and him was talking XCOM. It's so much fun. He's turn-based guy too, but Demio for a new entry and what they're doing and some of the best mechanics I've ever seen in a boss dungeon encounter, like they got it and they keep updating the game, they keep bringing classes. So I did that, and last but not least, of course, Destiny, which I had to hurry up and do before the show because the servers kept kicking me out a day ago. Yeah, I was like, why can't I do a single player Sever mission? And you know when I knew something was wrong, Trav? If you start the mission, you go up the hill in the beginning, you start, and then like the Cabal is shooting. I'm like, yo, this Cabal won't die. Like he kept his energy kept coming back. And I kill him.
That's the kiss of death right there.
I'd kill him, and then he'd reappear behind me. I'm like, what
enemy, and you're like, oh god, something's not syncing.
I was like, no, the mechanics are crazy in the.
That's what happens when you're playing from a hotel room. Like if you're playing on a hotel room, super strict NAT, then you get that effect, and you're like, damn it.
I've never experienced that, bro. I never
Really?
knew what it is to play Destiny with a bad connection. I've never done it.
I've played on a plane, and you get it is brutal.
You and your plane Wi-Fi cracked me up. Teddy was like, we were hanging out with Teddy like after you left. He was like, oh yeah, he gets it everywhere, like Wi-Fi right on the plane. I was just like, I've never even thought about doing Wi-Fi on the plane. I literally download a movie to an iPad and watch that, and I never even think about doing the airplane Wi-Fi.
You got to multitask, man. 5 hours. I'm not going to waste that. I could be making money during that time, doing coverage. Let's get this stuff going.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. But yeah, I got. You
guys been playing Fall Guys?
Yes, I played that. I played that with DJ.
There we go.
Bill Still, without the Bill Stillwell, Epic Games now. He's with Epic. They got the integration.
Pope Art?
No, Pope couldn't make it. So it was me, Bill, DJ Allrose, and shout out to Minge. Shout out to Minge, Mickey. We was playing. I've never played Fall Guys. I waited. Oh, you know Minge. You know who Minge.
Of course I know Minge. Yeah. Dude, I've spent so much time with that guy online. Jeez.
Like, this is pure savagery at its finest. This game, it feels like it's made for Nintendo Switch.
Like a year ago when we got to play it. So,
oh my god, it's hilarious! It is hilarious.
It coming to the Switch. It coming to the Switch is a blessing. I think that's why, like the resurgence. It's just so much easier to play when you don't have to boot up the PC or your PlayStation.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a crazy fun game, just stupid, goofy antics, and I never played it enough to really practice on the games to kind of figure out the nuances of being good. I think I got one crown, but it's a hell of a fun time. Yeah, if you got a couple of people in a party chat, I'm sure it's just pure goofy.
Pure goofiness, yeah. So that's pretty much been it for me as far as playing a different variety of games and just getting ready, a little slower, lighter week.
Here's another question. Have you guys been watching any TV? Because even my wife and I have been going through like shows. We've got one that literally came out yesterday. You got Umbrella Academy that just started up season 3. I literally just finished Stranger Things season 4 part 1, which is very, very good. That show keeps surprising me. Like it got all the budget it ever wanted this season. You can tell. I even saw the reason they did the 2 parts is I think the last episode is so much VFX they just didn't quite get it finished in time, but not like. And then Obi-Wan, there's 2 episodes left, and I hear those are the ones that are actually worth watching because it has been a bit slow to start. I will definitely say it's been.
I need Travis on that.
Slower. I was like, I haven't watched the last 2, but I've heard positive things about the last 2, so I kind of want to.
Which ones?
Like 5 and 6. I haven't watched 5 and 6, which are the main episodes for Obi-Wan.
Yeah, those are the best.
Yeah, those are the best ones. That's what I've heard. So it's like going into it, I think it's a slow build.
Yeah, I mean, I think the IGN review was an 8, which is great. I wouldn't go that far. I'd say maybe it's a 7, maybe a 6 if I'm having a bad day.
Hogue is definitely Hogue has some opinions.
Here's the thing. Hogue is wrong. Hogue is wrong, and he is so down on the series as a whole. I don't think there's anything that Star Wars could do that would make him happy unless it was literally just an hour-long reel of Luke Skywalker killing things with a lightsaber. Like that's what it would have to be. Like his expectation. Yeah, dude, he's just an old curmudgeon, and anytime they do anything new in the series, he's just is trash. And I'm like, dude, you're clearly not a Star Wars fan. You haven't liked Star Wars since 1983, so I think it's time to hang up your hat. I mean, he's one of those people. He said that the prequel. He said the prequels looked Oscar worthy compared to the Obi-Wan show.
Oh, that's
come on, dude. Come on. That's like so hyperbolic that I no longer want to listen to anything you have to say because it's just come on. That's like
shout out to Hogue.
No. And so yeah, I think it's middling as a show. I think that it has some really great moments and it has some moments that aren't that good. It has some cinematography problems, but it is quality Star Wars. If you're a Star Wars fan, you're probably going to like a lot of it. And I keep saying this, but we're never going to have worse Star Wars than Attack of the Clones. We're never going to have better Star Wars than Empire Strikes Back. So let's just be happy living in the middle eternally. That's where we're going to be, right? Going forward. It's all just going to be in between those two. So let's just live there. But anyway.
Yeah, Forte saying the last 2 saved it for me. And that's honestly what I've been hearing. I saw like a brief like snippets and tried not to read too much, but like the last couple episodes, 5 and 6, I heard were very solid.
Let me shout out my man Gaming Forte. Because I put this man through something this week with Destiny.
Oh no.
And I owe him an apology. He's a friend. No. Let me tell you why Gaming Forte is a friend because
we've had him on the show. I know that.
That's the homie, right? I didn't do trials, you know, and then like Sinister gets on, and I don't like playing with Sinister. Teddy, I love you. I don't like playing with you either. The problem is, first of all, Teddy, you know, he with his PC, and then the master race people come in and they terrorize us, right? So it's never fun for me, right? So then I don't like playing with Sinister because he's already gone flawless by Friday. So if I play with him on Sunday,
his pool,
it's over for me. Then I'm seeing the most esportsy things I've never seen before, and it's not fun for me. So I'm like, yo, all I need to get is rank 10. I just want the Burden of Guilt. What is it? The kinetic fusion from Trials. That's all I want. So I'm like, I'm so close, and I'm like, I can't win a match. So like, we literally shouted, we bullied Game Forte into this. We like, please, bro, can you just come on? Because you're not in the flawless pool. You're the only person on right now. So he's like, all right. And he helped me get it. So I got my fusion. I'm happy. I owe that man. Shout out to Game Forte for holding me down and do it. Because he don't even play trials no more. He's just like, I am not doing this trash. Like he's like done until they make major change. He's in the Travis, but he's like, I'm not doing this. But he did it out of friendship. So salute to Game Forte.
Shout out to that for sure.
But while we're doing shout outs, shout out to Teddy for I took a page up from my Jewish grandma's book and guilt tripped him into doing the Vox
Obscura?
Master. Vox Obscura Master.
You did a master?
Yeah, we did a master. By the way, Dead Messenger, super underrated.
It's a fun weapon.
My God, it's pretty good. Yeah.
And that radius with the 3, and
then just aim at the ground. Just aim at the ground, and it's great.
I love waveframes, and it's basically the hard light of waveframes with a better radius. Like it's really good.
The catalyst makes it even better. So I got that done. So shout out to Teddy. Thanks for doing that, man. You're still insufferable to play with, but I love you.
I love him. I love, but he's difficult,
isn't he? He's like the type of guy who will like look at your loadout and tell you exactly what to equip, and that sort of guy.
I love Teddy. He's so good. He always helps out.
I love him, but he's toxic.
If we're doing shout outs right now, I'm going to shout out the people who are going to be on the show in the future because I've been DMing a lot of people. I'm not saying who yet because I got to do the announcement later. But I was like, I'm just like DMing people on Twitter, and just so far everybody's been great. And I'm just like, I want to shout out to, again, awesome community.
Yes.
Got a chance to meet some of them at GCX, but it was like maybe a handshake, a photo, and a hello one time later. And then all of a sudden, talk them into a podcast. So no, just awesome people in the community. You guys will see who it is. But yeah, it's like, it's been fun. Cool. I know I haven't been streaming that much lately, just between the dog and trying to eat a little healthier and get workouts in and everything else. I know I haven't been, but I definitely want to more. So those of you guys are waiting on me streaming, it'll get there. Just give me time.
No doubt. Life comes first, bruh.
Yep. Well, there's this thing called Destiny. We have been playing a little bit.
Yeah, what's going on with this game?
The biggest thing this week, Sever, Rage. We got to see what was going on with Caiatl. So the freshest man in the room who probably got done playing it before he took his little break before the show started. How you feeling on it, sir? How's the Caiatl's adventure?
Okay. I maybe my expectation for what I was expecting from Caiatl was too high. I like Gaul. I like Gaul's the way he was, I guess you want to say tormenting, you know what I'm saying? Her, I thought was interesting. I liked, the fact that, he basically, is calling her out on certain things as far as her association with the Traveler and Light Bearers and things like that. I like that little dynamic there. I think I've struggled with Caiatl because like she didn't want to do. First of all, she doesn't listen, right? So she's like, I'm not doing your stupid Hive Witch ritual. I'm going there to fight in the tradition of Cabal and face my nightmare head on. Clearly, we know she's not going to win. And it's like, Eris is like, please go get her. Like, this is not going to work, whatever she's doing, right? So we get there. The fight itself was decent. To me, it was like Red War when you fought.
Yeah.
It was like when you Red War when you fought Gaul, but in a very confined space.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And they had you do a couple of steps beforehand. I guess, like I said, the only issue I'm having with the 7 missions, and help me out with this. I feel the resolutions are too fast.
I said that last week. Yeah.
I feel like it's like, okay, I'm struggling. Okay, I can't do it. Eris, okay. And next week, I have the resolve. I understand my thing, and
I've reached enlightenment every other
like
week.
Come on, you can't have this level of like the torment. I feel is legit, but the resolutions I feel are just too fast, and that's what's suspending disbelief just to advance the story, as far as I'm concerned. But I mean, as far as that, like I said, the missions are standard fare. It is what it is. But I want to see how they resolve, and then obviously I did like the last part with the pyramid, and then you're finding out more about he literally Callus is doing this to commune with the witness. So we got the witness tie-in that I know Travis has been wanting, kind of thing. But yeah, that's where I'm at with it. I'm curious, what you guys thought about it, because I literally just did it.
Yeah. My thoughts are, I'm kind of on the same boat as you. I'm a little underwhelmed by the story this season, and I know this game is getting a lot of praise at the moment for its narrative, and definitely the narrative is the thing that's carrying the season, because everything else, in my opinion, is not great. But I still feel like Destiny sometimes gets a little too much credit for the stuff it does in its story. Like the story this season is good for Destiny. Like that's the asterisk, right? Like it's like there's actual character development stuff going on, but it's not, revolutionary in the games industry or compared to other games that have ongoing stories and stuff like that. It's not anything special, I would say, what's happening this season. I like the themes around it. I like the thoughts of dealing with trauma and accepting yourself and your past and yada yada. All that stuff's really cool. But yeah, to your point, Cog, like the pacing is a little off. The actual activities we're doing to resolve it feel weird. It's like, oh yeah, place the resonators and then kill some guys while they have a therapy session with their own nightmares. And it's just like all of it is a little, it's like a nice topping on a not so great dessert. Like it just doesn't feel like super complete. So I'm sort of with you, Cog. I'm very much over it. The only thing I would say to your point of it being too quick, which generally I agree with, but do you really want to do more weeks of this? Because for me, it's like they kind of need to just wrap it up, because I don't know how much longer people would log on and do this damn activity where we're walking around a place we've already been before. It's the same damn area.
Some people are really enjoying the run back to the Leviathan.
Good for those people. I'm not one of them. And so I kind of think that they almost have to wrap this thing up, and we'll see. I'll see what the resolution's like. I'm interested to see if the witness connection is enough, because right now my feeling is I get that the witness is involved, but the witness is involved in the same way that the darkness was involved in past Destiny, which is that the darkness is involved only in name. It's like references like, oh, this is happening because of the darkness. And it's like, all right, well, what does that actually mean? Like, is there some plan here, or am I just fighting a mini boss while I wait for the actual meaty content to get here? So for me, the witness connection is nice, but I'm not seeing it as being enough of a connection for me to really matter. It's not advancing the overall plot of Destiny. It's just spinning our wheels while we do some distraction that is related to the witness and the darkness, but not really related. So just not a lot of story progression, even though the character progression is cool. Zavala's progression doesn't really move the needle. It's sort of shallow. It's just, hey, this character you never knew about, he had problems with her and now they're resolved. And hey, this
there's
dead
a little
character
more to it than that, but
yeah, but the dead character of Gaul had some problems with Caiatl, and now that's being resolved. And really the only one I think has like possible real consequences is the Crow, now kind of being back on the okay train, because it was a little touch and go there for a moment. But yeah, I could ramble on about the story in Destiny forever, but I'm not a huge fan of the season really in any regard right now.
No, for you. Before I give it to E, I know you're going to talk. I did want to mention there is one thing I do like, and it has nothing to do with the narrative. It's always in the Sever mission, and I want them to expound upon it a little bit more. The fun part where there's this invincible nightmare Galron running around chasing you, I think that was funny. I don't know why. Like he can't really kill you because obviously you res back.
This
but
week you actually kill him for a change.
Yes, and I was like,
that was nice.
got him. I was like, come on down here. I'm tired of you chasing me around
down the hallway.
I said, come into this fight. Come into the. I like that, but I just wanted to shout that part out. But E, where you at, man? Where you at with the story this week and everything?
I mean, that was kind of one of the things. Like week 3 was really well told, I thought, because I mean, I know Travis said it's a character we didn't know about, but it was a way to. It gave some reasoning as to why Zavala has been the way he is. Kind of like a stick of possess Vanguard guide, not really wanting to do too much, not wanting to venture out too far, trying to almost like follow the book to a fault, that kind of guy. And we got a little bit of like behind the scenes look as to how we got there. I actually really enjoyed that. And that was when I said before we had Tom on last week, the week before that, I said like Zavala's felt like a kind of wrapped smooth, like, but again, also as Travis said, how many weeks do you want to repeat this? And I think this is the balance of, I mean, in Risen, very tight story, 4 weeks long. 1, 2, 3, 4. Crow messed up, but you know, Forge, Valis Forge now exists because of that, and he's a badass in the Cabal ranks, and we got that, you know, resolution because of it. It was a tight little story. This is going to be 7. There's 7 weeks at least to whatever the lore book or something is. So whatever the 7th week is, seems like it's going to be the thing. And I think that's the point where it'll be like kind of where I decide. When you guys were saying Obi-Wan, 5 and 6 kind of make it get the grade that it even has a chance of getting because of those 2 episodes are so strong. I'm very curious how this one resolves, because as Travis is saying, if it doesn't push the arc forward, it is going to be, these are like the flashback episodes in the middle of a syndicated TV show in which you like, it's cool to learn about stuff about the characters, but you don't move like the general arc forward, which is kind of what we're going for into the seasons. So if 7 can take, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and the pairs of those, and take 7 and go, all right, now we got all this stuff, and we're going into like, you know, the next season, going towards the Witness, and, you know, if Callus and the Witness have some weird discussion that we hear about, or we get something along, you know, the building of him into being another disciple or something, that would be cool. That's what I'm hoping for in 7. Hopefully we get to see it in some way. Maybe something goes wrong. Maybe everything goes smoothly and we sever his connection and he has to go. I don't know, but like, I need 7 to deliver. So I know we're 2 weeks away from that. Is that right? Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm enjoying getting the history, like hearing Gaul talk to Caiatl. Kind of gives an idea of, you know, what she went through, and she was more taught to use her brain, and Gaul's like, you should be a warrior. What the hell are you doing working with these? So, I mean, it's cool to see them kind of play off each other a little bit in each one of them, but it does feel weird when they go through so much crap in the first week that they're a thing, and the second week it's like, I don't need you, and then, okay, now we're going to shake hands, and it's like, but how much longer do you need it to be? So it's kind of that thing. It's like, I mean, if you got 3 characters who want to tell a story, you got to, you know, issue resolution 3 times, and then hopefully 7 is the delivery. So that's kind of where I'm at, is 7 needs to deliver. Otherwise, it's going to be cool to know the history, but, you know, kind of may not hit if 7 doesn't. So that's where I'm at on it. I want to see where it ends.
No, I feel you. I think for me also, while I guess this one I felt like mixes, because I actually liked the Gaul character, and I always felt the Red War.
Voice, by the way,
for
both Gaul and Callus,
so good.
Gaul should have been the bad guy for the full first year of Destiny.
Yes,
at least
he got axed way too quickly, and I loved that whole story with him. So yeah, you know, it's like, damn, just when you get a little bit, you know, I know it's gonna go away again. What you gonna say, Trav? Go.
Yeah, I was just saying they botched that story so badly that I actually get indignant when they bring him back like this, especially when you fight him and he goes Super Saiyan again, and I have to remember that boss fight and how that all ended, and I'm just like, God damn it! Like you had such a good character. That whole story was good up until the last mission when you killed him.
The Red War
campaign
you know actually, I don't know if it gets enough credit.
Campaign was
really
good.
It was so good. I think that's probably the second best story that they've told behind the Witch Queen. I really like that campaign.
Yes.
I just think it ends terribly, and then the whole,
like the Game of Thrones sour note and sour taste in your mouth in the end.
Yeah, exactly. It almost invalidates the journey. It makes you feel, and then the fact that they don't use the fact that the Traveler woke up. Like that was the whole point of him dying, right? Is like the Traveler awoken, and then what does he do? Oh, he just sits there for a couple years, and then during a live event, he puts himself back together, and then just chills and has done nothing. And I'm just like, what?
It's been a learning experience for Bungie to figure out what they want to do with this franchise. I mean, it's been obviously, as you said, like the Red War campaign, then they kill him off. The Traveler a couple years later. Worf, as we talked with Tom last week, it was, season 10 and season 13, seeing some of these seasons, they're finally figuring out, okay, there is something we can do with all of this stuff, and it seems like it actually has a plan to it. Somewhere on a whiteboard, all this stuff has been kind of just vaguely planned by the narrative team, which is good because
we now know they're getting those notes handed down to them to create seasons. So.
Yeah, that's it.
But I mean, overall, mission's kind of fun. Apparently, I will definitely say though, when it comes to like, oh, what's the seasonal challenge this week that you've got to do, and it's go run Sever Grief, which is like 3 with a different subclass, but you can't touch the scythe because then that bugs it out because it can't explode or it can't be solar. So, but it's also the fact that go play a mission just with another subclass, and I'm like, we can't get. I don't want to, this is one of those moments. I was like, I feel like we need a little more creativity in the challenges than that. I don't know what else specifically in the world of season that, could be maybe a little thin on that type of stuff, but go do a mission just with a different subclass doesn't really feel the best when you read that, because I think that's what it was a week or two back as well. I'm just like,
Yeah, I actually gotta do that. I gotta focus back on a couple of the older ones. What is it? Kinetic? You run it with a void, and
one was like Kinetic or Stasis, something like that. Yeah, I haven't looked at all of them.
I need
probably need to
fragment thing so I can unlock more stuff on my because I really want to start focusing. I don't have a good Mida mini tool. And
I got mine crafted and I can't put it down.
Ooh, what you got? What you put on?
I'll just put incandescent. I don't even know what the second perk is right now. Just enhanced incandescent, because I actually was doing Nightmare Containment, and I got an Ascendant Alloy to drop. I'm like, oh, I know exactly what I'm using that for.
They be dropping in Containment.
I was like, I haven't seen that many, but I did get one to drop, and it was actually went to my postmaster. I was like, oh, I'm crafting this right now. So I just went to go shoot a bunch of stuff with my Callus mini tool. I got a drain crafted. I just literally today, I think I got that crafted.
Is that still bugged?
Drain?
Yeah, I heard it was like this.
Or what?
Yeah, no, the Drang specifically. Senator was telling me that there's some.
The damage acting like
damage. Yeah, I heard this a bug.
I don't know if it still is or not. I'm more just like it's a fun sidearm to use. I like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And sidearms are awesome right now.
Yes,
in PvP.
And then next week they're gonna get fixed for PV for the barrier thing.
Wait, hold on, chat. What sidearm are you using in PvP? What you using?
Trespasser.
Ooh,
dude,
that one might have good synergy
disgusting.
next season. That one might be. See, that could have been next season's exotic.
Oh, Trespasser be lit for Arc 3.0.
Yeah.
I'm using a few of them. I can't remember. I think I am using Drang a little bit. That one's really good right now.
Feels good.
Actually, I recently switched to submachine guns because they're just so delightful. But yeah, I was using Trespasser before that, and now I'm using I got like a god roll of Callus mini tool, and I'm just sweeping up. So
yeah, Callus mini tool feels good.
I haven't had time to play in a while, though. I'll be honest. PvP specifically, I need to get back in there. I think I'm waiting for Iron Banner. That I'm gonna just
Iron Lord.
I'm just gonna go ham on that.
What weekend is that?
It's next week.
Next week, right?
Next week is July, right? You said it was July 4th weekend or July 4th week.
I gotta look at. Somebody in chat tell me. Shout out to Gaming.
Oh no,
Addict.
So it would be the one after that.
Because
so
it's YouTube and not Twitch. What's up, Attic?
It'd be in 2 weeks.
When is Iron Banner? Because I have family coming in town next weekend. Please tell me it's the 5th.
Yeah,
I think it is the 5th.
Okay, then I'm good. Because if it's over the 4th weekend, and that's where Iron Banner is, that's when the family's here. And then the 5th, if it starts, then I'm excellent. 12th.
Yeah, the 4th.
12th? That doesn't sound right.
Okay.
Really? 12th? Wow, they're saying it's the 12th. Okay, all right, well then you guys lied to me because you guys said it was the first week of July, and I wrote that stuff down on my calendar a couple episodes ago.
I gotta look. I seriously gotta look now because I didn't think that was it. Could be wrong.
Attic super chat.
That sounds too long. It's only happening twice this season, right? So we only have one left.
Yeah, it's week 8. I know that. Somewhere.
He got his eye Lord. That Attic got that Lord. Yeah, no doubt. We might have to make that a requirement, Attic. We might have to make for people to clan. Man, that might be the rule. We got to start sifting through. You ain't got Iron Lord title.
That's a rift.
Yeah, it's paid. New Raz says the 12th.
Really?
All right. Well,
July
Iron Banner is awful, but it is technically PvP, and so I'm gonna
Touch the riff.
Hope to get that Jotun.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
that'll work
Do
timing wise.
Jotun while you're in there.
Well, I haven't gotten the catalyst to drop yet, so I'm just having really bad luck. But that's the last catalyst I need to finish. So
nice.
But I'll be caught up.
Nice.
Caught up, guys.
Yeah, well, that works because I got my wife's family's coming in to visit for that July 4th weekend. So I don't know what we're gonna do since it's gonna be 1,000 degrees, but we'll see. But yeah, if they were gonna be here for Iron Banner weekend, that was gonna be a long grind of a couple days before they got here. So I'm glad I get to space it out a little more. Thank goodness.
I feel it.
What else have you guys been doing? Have you been doing any of the other dungeons for Pinnacles or anything like that? Have you been
trying to get the sword?
Yeah.
Oh, did you get it?
Not yet.
Anybody got the what is it? The kinetic no, not I don't even got that. Yeah, I ain't even got that either.
I got a god roll.
Oh, what you got?
Frenzy and I can't remember what the other perk was.
For what?
But yeah, I finally got a god roll on it. Storm Chaser.
Nice.
Yeah. It gave me
now that I know it's not craftable, I've been looking. As soon as you guys said that, I looked on my phone and I was like, all right, let me see what rolls I've got, because I guess now I'm not gonna be able to craft. And it was a harrowing moment in my life. But yeah, I have a pretty good roll, so I'm rocking that.
I still need Storm Chaser. I mean, Storm Chaser. I need
I'm pretty sure Storm Chaser's bugged.
Really?
It does like 50. It does like 50% more damage than the next highest.
It does a ton of damage. I mean, it's a 3 burst. It's one of those. I don't know if it's like if you're in that dungeon, since you're standing right next to 2 of the bosses, especially Caiatl. You stun her and she stands there. Like, she's gonna be the easiest target ever. If you try and use that on a farther target, I don't know how the triple tap like recoil, how it's gonna be. I haven't tested it that much. I wonder how that thing is to manage on, bosses with slightly small, like Callie, for example, in Last Wish would probably be impossible with the kicks. That's why I don't know if the math, if it makes a difference or not. But yeah, it's definitely got some potency in the right place for sure.
Yeah, it's the meta right now for PvE, 100%.
Yeah. I want that lingering dread, man. I just want that lingering dread. I mean,
let's do the dungeon after this, Cog.
Again.
Have you done it this week?
I have not. There's a reset, so we can do it.
Then yes, again. This is destiny. You got to do activities 50 times.
I owe you this time. This time I won't ditch you for
you bailed me.
I failed you.
It's like I feel like somebody definitely got called out.
Yeah.
It was there.
So he agreed to do the dungeon with me and Teddy on the show, and then as soon as the show was over, he messaged me and goes, "My clanmates are saying I should be playing with them. I got to stay loyal. Sorry, guys." And you know what the messed up part was? Teddy and I were just hanging out waiting for him to log on. And he messages us like 2 hours after. It's like, dude, we've been sitting here waiting for Cog to tell us when he's going to be online. We literally were. We were like, I swear to you, Cog, we were waiting for you to log on, and then we were like, oh, I guess he's not.
2 hours not doing it. Where's Cog? Stop it.
No, we knew you were logging on later, but we were like, he said he was going to eat. He's taking a while. I don't know. Maybe he just eats a lot. And then no, it turns out
that's how you become.
Hoes ain't loyal.
That's how you become Gears of War sized. It takes a while to eat. Okay.
That's right.
These meat boxes got to eat.
Meat boxes.
I love how Flawless even said that on Twitter. He was like, I still remember that time he called me, Cog, and Ebontis meat boxes, and I was like, I'm not so sure about that.
Yo, if we walk around together, you guys look like Centurions and I'm a Scion. We're the Cabal squad rolling around.
Yeah,
he's a little Scion.
Yeah, we should do some cosplay. I'd be a good Scion.
You're like it'd be like in Gears of War because you use that reference. It's like he and I are shooting all the aliens and we're trying to keep the little scientist guy alive between us.
Yeah,
that's exactly what we got.
It's an escort mission. It's an escort mission.
I'm the female
escort mission. Yeah,
mate.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm done.
Shout out to Necromancer Zeal. Which one of the 3 races would you like to see in story content next season? I want more on the Vex and the Blue Lens. Blue Lens Harpy actually was kind of cool. The fact that he was like a kind of good guy. Who do you guys want to see? Because obviously this season we know what's kind of generally going to be going on. Where do you guys think next season might go? I know we're going to theoretically get the raid, whichever way they go with that. I don't know. But where do you guys think the story goes? Or what would you like to see? What do we do for?
I think it is time for the Vex, right? We've been Vexless for a little bit. The problem with the Vex is just they like They're the hive mind with no.
It's like the Borg. Yeah, it's like how do you fight the Borg? Yeah.
There's no central. Like they almost need to be controlled by like another entity that we could then beef with.
Another missed opportunity. Panoptes could have been sweet. I'm just telling you. He looked cool. He could have had a personality. They could have made it a thing, but they decided to just kill him in a subpar boss fight.
Yep.
That's Bungie's move. They kill all the best characters in lackluster boss fights. They've been doing that since Halo. That's their whole MO. So I agree. I don't want to see the Vex until they figure out what they're doing with them.
TK Omar in chat said Rasputin, Siva, Wrath of the Machine. Just go that whole deep dive.
Oh yeah,
make Rasputin take over a faction of the Vex and use their bodies to be our allies. Do that.
Let Rasputin get sentient. And he has some connection with the thing.
He used the Siva to take over, the Vex.
Take over a faction of the Vex, and then we can have some of them in the tower, and that'll complete the prophecy.
There you go.
Do that. Do something interesting. But if you're not going to do that, then my choice is Hive, because I want you to start using your Hive Guardians again, because I'm sick of not fighting them.
You want that Lucid Brood back already?
I never go back. When's the last time you killed a Hive Guardian? When's the last time you crushed a ghost?
I did literally a Lost Sector on the Throne World, and I was like, oh yeah. I did it yesterday. It was yesterday I did the video for Extraction.
See, I don't do strikes or anything, so like it's been since Witch Queen. Like I haven't crushed a ghost at all.
I was like, even if you do strikes, odds are against statistically, so.
And speaking of which, I got a fun thing for y'all. How many?
And if they add King's Fall, they should throw in Hive Guardians.
I've got it. Ooh.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, how many of y'all running that greatest raid of all time, Vow of Disciple? How many times I don't hear nobody talking about that?
I just haven't been raiding. Period.
Raiding.
Never said it was my favorite, but I got the scout rifle and was like, bye.
Bye. Y'all, prisoner of the moment. That raid after the. People gonna get tired of chicken fingers and witness.
That doesn't bother me. I just haven't raided much at all. It's not.
It's the greatest raid of all time.
I mean, to be fair, Cog, I feel the exact same way about the Last Wish. I never did that raid after I got the fusion rifle, and I've gone back just to do Shurochi. That's it. So
yeah. That's hard. That's very disrespectful. Wow.
No, it is.
Wish. Wow.
This is my most disrespectful face. I'm giving you my most disrespectful expression.
I mean, I don't go run Vault of Glass either, so I mean, it's not like
you don't. But I actually ran King's Fall for fun. I ran Wrath of the Machines for fun.
So which I
could go for a siege engine right now.
Which one do you want? Do you want King's Fall or Wrath? Sam, what do you want?
If I had to choose?
Yeah. If you got the pick, you're up there at the Luke Smith board and you're like,
I choose King's Fall, but only because I think they could modernize it and make it cool with Hive Guardians and stuff. And I don't think they could do it with the Fallen. First of all, the Splicers aren't even really in.
That's right. The Splicers.
I don't really know. I don't know how they do it.
That's a good point. No, I mean, gotta get King's Fall for you guys. You know, I wanna really revisit it with the D2 flavor, right?
SB just said the jumping puzzle. I forgot about
that. God, not the penis wall. Oh God.
Not that one. The ship jumping puzzle.
Oh, that's the one.
That's the hottest wall I've ever seen. You guys ever see a wall and you kind of go, oh.
Get a little hot under the collar there, huh?
Didn't know you were going to be here. Oh, wow.
You were going to be. Yeah.
It's a wall.
That is quite a wall, yeah.
Wrath is the more fun for me, but I have to admit, like, damn, that shit puzzle used to. I used to get clowned how bad I used to mess that up. They would all five of them just sit there and laugh at me because I couldn't get to the other side fast. It would be that one jump where you had to kind of like reverse thing, and it's that jump towards the end of the ship jumping puzzle. I used to butcher that thing. Other than that, like what's his name? Golgoroth. Is it Golgoroth? Is that the one?
That's a big ogre in
Sisters.
It's all over.
You gotta see Oryx. You gotta see Oryx just to see him. You gotta see him. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta see it. I would love to see how it holds up. And then
would it be too much? Would it be too much if they changed the name to Queen's Fall, made it a giant Savathun at the end, and redid the final encounter so that it's less bad? would that be too much? Can they not revise it to that level?
I don't think that's where you're just gonna get into the debate. Datto had his like video over the 3 of these. Like he was like, what would we do to bring back the raids? And the idea is they tend to want to keep the encounters close to what they were before to keep the feeling of the raid the same. So if you change up the mechanics of an encounter too much, it's not the same raid we went through. I'm not saying I wouldn't mind some tweaks to things, but I feel like you might not get much more than a tweak as opposed to reworking an encounter completely. Like if they got rid of the bombs that you stand in, people would be like, well, this isn't like the raid that I knew. And then you're going to get that session of people being annoyed.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to rework it no matter what, because some of those encounters don't really work. Like we're way faster, so I feel like the jumping puzzle during the King's Fall boss fight doesn't really make sense anymore, you know?
Oh, the one up in the air?
Yeah.
There's plenty of people who would mess that one up, I would imagine.
You think so? I think they'd overshoot it, because before you were like barely making it. I feel like we are too quick now. I don't know, man. I don't know if I even like the idea of them bringing back the old raids. Just
really?
Yeah.
Wow. No,
it's different sandboxes. They weren't made for it. It's a lot of time and effort to put in when you could just be making a new raid. I don't know, man.
The assets are there, though. You know,
the assets are. You could use the assets for a new raid. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to just because the assets are there. You don't have to recreate exactly what you did. I mean, it's not like the Destiny. If the Destiny 1 servers were offline, I would say, yeah, for sure, we need them. But you can go.
No, we need 60 frames. I am not. Shout out to them.
Play Destiny 1. Sorry.
Put D1 on PC then.
True, they could do that. But I was like, they'd be like, let's do King's Fall. I'm like, not at 30 frames. I'm waiting for it to come back.
You know, you could also just do an update for D1 that brings it to 60 frames. That would be super easy to do. That's
touching. I was like, I think they respectfully disagree that it's easy. Otherwise, they probably would have. But
no, it's probably they just think it's not worth the effort. But I mean, like some games already do that automatically that aren't dependent on servers because of the upres on Xbox.
Yeah,
yeah. I don't think that there's no way that that's going to be incredibly difficult. But anyway, I digress.
What else, Eve?
Yeah, I was like, no, I don't know. I mean, I feel like King's Fall would be the one that thematically goes with the hive of this year, but I think it just would be really cool to see Siva. Like, just as something so juxtaposed from everything we have going on right now. And again, it would be cool to see them if they did a Rasputin story. If they did a Rasputin story in King's Fall, I'd be like, all right, what the hell are you doing? Like, that's the point where I'd have to ask, you picked the wrong one, even if I like King's Falls, from a D1 perspective.
Didn't they do that one with Vault of Glass, though?
Vault of Glass came out with what? I mean, Vault of Glass was the first one they were doing, I know, but I don't even know what was going on.
Wasn't it nothing related?
Yeah, I mean, it's not related, and that's the thing, is I know it would just be like, if the relation could be there and then they still did the different one, that's what I mean. It's like, I don't expect there to be any tie-in to it. So I expect like Siva to come out during like a Cabal season or whatever. But if it was actually, hey, we're doing stuff with Siva and Rasputin, and then you're like, and here's King's Fall, I'm like, yeah, that doesn't feel quite right. That's all I mean. Is like, if that was the time to choose, then that would be my choice.
I still want to hear from Savathun's Ghost. So if they send us back to King's Fall, if they send it back to King's Fall, make it a thing where like he has gone to Oryx's throne world and add some dialogue from him in there. Because I feel like you need story, you need some sort of explanation. So like make it like a quest where there's a reason you have to go back there or something. That's all I'm saying.
I would love it too. They just seem like, did they put out a statement like they're not gonna tie him?
Yeah.
Oh, they're not. Yeah. I know they're not. I mean, and that's why. But it would just be. It would be very funny if it's like, okay, so the next thing in the story we need to do is Anna Bray put Rasputin into an engram, and then all of a sudden,
So if you guys know they're not going to put story in, why do you want the raids in D2? Do you want the raids in D2?
Because it's content that we had that we paid for, technically. You know what I'm saying?
So you're talking you're talking Bungie into doing more of what this season is, which is like bringing back an old location and putting it back in the game because it's old content you had and you want it back.
Yeah, because this is the reason.
It's terrible.
Nah, I love it. Here's the because
what? You love it? You love that this is the model?
Raids are the best content in Destiny, and I feel more people should play them. And I think it sucks when it goes away and there's no full Leviathan.
It's not away. You can play D1. It's still there.
I'm not playing
No
D1.
one's going back to that. That 30 frames. You'd have me go back to the hood.
30 frames
We
isn't
live
that
in
bad.
nuts now.
30 frames
we
isn't
moved
that
out
bad.
of that area. We're in
We don't live in that neighborhood no more, Travis. We doing this. We got cups. And you see what we's doing?
we live in the opulent life now.
Life. And you having me go down there.
30 frames isn't that bad, first of all. Have you ever played a Switch game? They're like all at 30 frames. It's not that big of a deal. Second of all, Destiny isn't
Metroid
even
wasn't.
like a Destiny isn't a highly responsive shooter that requires 60 frames. It's like a casual shooter. You could play it at 30 frames and be fine. In fact, we did it for years.
No one going back to that. You go. You could choose to go back.
Yeah,
play
you
D1
have
if
fun
you
in D1.
You have fun. I'm gonna be. Over here
I have gone back.
I know. I'm
I
sure.
went back and played
God
D1
bless.
not that
God
long
bless.
ago.
We not doing that. We living nice. We faluting over here. We got the pinky ring up. Everything is nice. It's cool. That's what we want to do.
Now who's pretentious?
I'm very pretentious. Oh, with that?
Wow.
Oh, absolutely. Nice new engine, better servers. Then you talk about the old systems where we doing the spin metal with the circle. Oh, no. Oh,
It's
Lord.
kind of like Men in Black. You've got old and busted,
now,
new hotness.
New hotness.
We going with new hotness. I will
a lot
say.
of the stuff in the old system was better, though.
You go ahead. You tell me how it works. Do the IGN review for that. D1 20 years.
20 years? Cog, how old are you? He perceives time in dog years. This is unbelievable.
Well, we moved.
It's been 3 years. Man. It's been 20 years. Like, what happened to you? I don't know. He had a stroke.
To them old Ford motor cars with the steam when they first made.
You know what I would rather play in D1 than D2?
Talk to me.
Trials.
Trials is better. I'd give you that. Trials.
There's a lot in that game that was better.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying. I would rather. I think we can agree. You would rather them work on new raids than remaster old ones.
Of course.
All things being equal.
All things being equal. Of course. Always new content before. The only thing is, I just hate because I look at Maddie's my test case. Maddie was like, damn, I see y'all. I want to play Destiny. But morally, he's like, it is wrong that they have taken content away. Right? So it's hard. Like when we talk about Red War campaign, you know what I'm saying? We talk about Leviathan. That was part of the Red War. That was there. And the fact that I can't show him that, he like, let me know. And Hogue is out too. Hogue said after the DCV,
Hogue folded. He came back in.
Oh, he's back?
Yeah, he played the Witch Queen. After all that noise, he went.
Really? Oh, fraud alert on Hogue. Oh, I didn't know about
fraud
this.
alert on Hogue. So that's number one. Two, I would love to debate Maddie on removing content from games because this has been a practice that's been in games for much longer than Destiny, and it's not even really unusual at this point. It's kind of just the model for live service. So I think people who, no offense, are older and have an older view of games and the way that they think games should be, they have a problem with live services games model, and I'm just like, they're just different models, man. You sign up for a live service, you understand that things are going to change, and they're live servers, and there's plenty of other games that do it.
Does Warframe remove content? I don't know. I'm asking.
No. World of Warcraft and Warframe don't, but they also don't have the same problem.
I mean, World remaster stuff, though. I mean, they'll
they
rework
remaster
an
thing.
area.
World of Warcraft remastered stuff. They do destroy certain areas and versions of the game that you can't go back to, and items, and like something that nobody ever talks about is after a multiplayer game's been around for a while, they turn off the servers and you can't play it. That is technically taking away content you paid for, but like. What's the alternative, right? Keep the servers running when nobody's on it. Like, it's the reality of the situation.
I think the issue is for people that we're trying to get into Destiny. That like we know we complain about the new light system, right? And all they want to do is say, "Okay, I'll get down," and they're willing to go back to do Red War, Forsaken. They want to do it in this chronological order. And when I tell them, "Oh no, that's not there," but you could start here and you could do Beyond Light, and they like, "But I want to know what happened before. I don't know anything." That's the tough sell, and that's why I said Maddie's my example. And I'm like, that's why I wish there was some way. Even if it's like you log into the old D1 server up-resed and you could just do that, and it doesn't even affect anything, and then you're up to speed to what the live service game is. I don't know how you solve that issue. I understand your point.
It would be nice if
Logistically,
there was like
live
a
service games
D2.
don't work like that, and you're absolutely right. It's just that I want to win over that guy, and I don't know how to win that guy over.
Just give him an offline server to play on. Make an
That's-
offline version of Destiny.
Make
and just let him
optional.
play
Do
there.
you want to download the Red War campaign and play it? And then you can choose, like, here's the required things to play the current piece of the game. And then if they could remaster Red War, Forsaken, and those types of things, it's like, and you could like log in Destiny and just like, do you want to do current or like archive? And you could go play that archive of, you know, at least the campaign, the stories. And that could be an optional download, however big the damn file size is, let people download it and experience it. Because I do agree that the new light experiences, you can go to the timeline right now, but you're not going to see, I mean, minus the final Gaul mission, you're not going to see the speaker actually have what happens to him. You're not going to see the opening mission with Ikora and Zavala, you know, hold it down, and then Ikora have her iconic moment of just blowing up the ship with her Nova Bomb, and then a Nova Bomb 2 seconds later where she has no recharge time. Like, you won't get those moments. So those are ones I wish they could do something like a Final Fantasy. It's like, hey, go play through all the old stuff. Even if it's free, we don't care. Then you want people to start logging in, doing microtransactions, go to your Eververse store. People would have a chance to do that. Exactly. Now, granted, they have the issue of they may not love those campaigns. They may not be as proud of them because of what the game was going through. But that's still, I mean, I'm sure, what is it, a Realm Reborn for Final Fantasy is not their favorite piece of content versus where they just did with Endwalker, but you still got to go through the journey.
Yeah, I think it's sad that I'm listening to what you talk, and it's like some people don't even know who the speaker is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Some people don't even know who Cade is. Think about it. There's people that play Destiny right now.
Well, they still mention him.
No idea. But I mean, you're right. He like a strike. His voice.
This is the argument for like doing the D1 model, though, right? Because none of the D1 content got taken away from you. You can still play it.
The game only lasted 3 years. That's the difference. They didn't want to put a 2 on the box. They would have probably kept it there if they could have.
They didn't want to. Yeah.
Well, Final Fantasy's been going on for what, 8 years? Final Fantasy 14. They haven't taken out old campaigns. So I sort of have never really believed the reason, but I remember I was on Fireteam chat when they announced the Destiny Content Vault, and we were talking about it that week, and I thought, oh, this is going to be like a separate app that you can go to play all the old content that isn't a part of the live game. That was like my initial thought. And I don't think that taking content out of a game is morally wrong, like Matt. I think it's actually, you have to do it at some point, if depending on, you know, you're the creator of your game. Like if you Fortnite doesn't keep all their live events that you can go and replay them, right? Like that's just not really the model. But I do think it's a shame from a game preservation perspective that there's no way to go back and do it. And that's the thing that kind of sticks in my
whole thing. His whole
I don't like
mantra.
it. The game preservation hurts me. Yeah.
Bro, you just spoke to his soul. That's literally what that kid's whole thing is. He's all about game preservation. He's the guy that has used games. He wants to be able to, he's that guy. So
I mean, he's got a whole retro rebound. Is it a whole channel?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, whole chat show.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm very intrigued for Lightfall, because I know that's going to be another huge moment. I'm very excited for Arc 3.0 next season. I'm very excited for the dungeon in season 19. I'm very excited for possible rework of survival / competitive maybe in season 19. Cross your fingers and hope we get some PvP love there. Like, those are the big moments in the franchise that I'm look forward to. The weekly login for the journey, playing with some friends here, soloing this content, having a raid moment. Those are going to happen along the way. But it does feel like we are going to have some light moments in between. And again, like the stories they tell so far have been good. And it's like, and all it is, it's about pacing. Like when I finished Stranger Things, we finished episode 7 last night of part 1. And even my wife was saying, there's a piece of the story. She's like, oh, I'm kind of over this piece of the story. And then they brought that stuff full circle in the perfect way. And you're like, damn it. Like that was really well done when they brought it around. And that's the type of stuff when you get those moments, you're like, okay, it was worth it. Cool. And those are the ones that I just hope we keep getting in this, because we've had some good ones. I just want them to keep going. It just does feel like it's taken a little while to get to some of them. And then some of the filler feels like more filler than others. That's part of it.
Yeah, I think it's just the nature of the live service. I think part of it is they have to put us on hold for a little bit just because of just the way the seasonal structure is, and the what Tom said, like that's the overarching timeline of what's supposed to happen with the big team and the expansions, and then they got to work in this constrained box and not go too far here, not use this character here, and that's the thing of it. So I understand it, but yeah, no, I mean,
I'm going to ask an insane question since we're talking about the future of Destiny.
Sure. Let's go.
According to Bungie, Lightfall's coming out in spring of 2023.
Theoretically, they haven't ever confirmed.
Theoretically,
but theoretically.
They did say that they switched the thing because they wanted to release in spring, right? That was there.
I mean, yeah, it's not coming out in November because you have like 4 seasons of stuff to do. So,
of course.
Yeah, there's no way it's any sooner than 12 months.
So, and that by that logic, they should be announcing it soon. Typically, they have a 6-month cycle, which means that in August or September, they should be announcing
when did we get info
Lightfall
on
and
Witch
showing
Queen?
stuff. Around that time. It's usually over the summer.
But when did
it's over the summer before it comes out is usually
we did get it around the summer, because
I think Witch Queen we got sooner because it got delayed, so it probably wasn't like June or something, April or June. But
so the question is, when do we get
Destiny's fourth major expansion is coming February 22nd. That's news on August 24th.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean,
so that's in August. I think we'll be on Light was similar. So my theory is, and I think we've all talked about this, that it's going to take them 18 months to do every expansion, right? And that we're going to be waiting a little bit longer than we think we are. So do you think they announce it next year in the spring? Or do you think we get an announcement and some stuff about Lightfall this year? Do you think they're going to move that quickly?
I don't think we hear anything about Lightfall until the calendar says 2023.
Really?
Agreed. I agree.
Really? Why so?
Yeah.
So why not early? I want to hear the opposing side. Why?
Part of it would be is if they're trying to have, part of it for me would be like maybe almost like selfishly narratively. If Lightfall has a big moment to it that has some build up in previous seasons, we don't want to know what's going to happen towards the end of season 19 before we even get 18. Because 18 is going to drop August 23rd. Theoretically, I don't want to hear about Lightfall August 22nd.
You did do that last time. Last time they did tell us about the upcoming season.
But that was coming like November and then it got delayed. But yeah.
Yeah. But no, again, February 22nd is the article you just read, right?
February 22nd is when the date was, and it came August 24th. So yes, that's why I'm saying that's what they did before. So that's why I said selfishly, narratively, I was like, sure, I wouldn't mind that. But also, I don't know if they know when they're going to be able to drop it yet. I don't know how big Lightfall is going to be. I don't know the scale of what they're trying to build. I don't know if there's if it's going to be. I mean, if you have Hive Guardians in Witch Queen, do they do something along those lines? Is this the time they get rid of champions? Like, I don't know what systems they would go after in a Lightfall. So I don't know how much time they would want. So, I mean, if you think of 18 months, that's going to push it from February to August of 23. That's a long... That sounds... No, it wouldn't be August. They did like a 3... What did they do? 15 months? They pushed it the last season. Okay, so that would be March, April, May.
Y'all forgetting the key factor here.
Money?
The Sony check's going clear.
No, come on. You don't actually believe that's going to do anything.
That's not going to change the development time. That's not going to change the development time.
Cog, I hate to break it to you, but if anything, the Sony acquisition will make it come slower. For multiple reasons. Number one, Sony takes forever to make games. That's part of their culture. And they let their studios take a long time. So they're not really going to be the type to push it out the door. Number two, Sony has said that they basically want to brain drain Bungie and take them off of Destiny to go work a bunch of other.
Reminds me of
what they do.
What is that Batman Forever with Jim Carrey?
They want to take Bungie's employees and their brain trust and make them work on a bunch of different live service games. I honestly think that that's going to be hugely detrimental to Destiny's development. I know you guys disagree on that, but I still stand by that. And
we'll see.
Three, they even if Sony was like, dude, we're giving you all this money just so that you can hire up and staff up, which by the way isn't happening. The money is going to the shareholders and the people that owned the business.
They're hiring
just going to
people
put it in there
constantly.
But they were before they got acquired by Sony. And when you hire people, that doesn't necessarily mean all of those people are working on game design for the nearest thing, that it's going to improve.
But they are
the
hiring
speed
a
at which
butt ton of people. If you watch like all the threads that I see, I can't tell you how many people I've seen are like first week at Bungie all the time. There's that's a lot of staff constantly for one studio.
Now go through your head. Now go through your head and remember all of the people you've seen post "Today's my last day at Bungie."
I don't know. I don't follow. I haven't been
really
that many.
No, I've seen it. I've seen it as much as I've seen "Today's my first day."
I've not seen that much.
I prefer to you guys. I don't be.
No, it's like I've seen many more. I've seen way more. Like this is my first day at Bungie versus my like. I
maybe it's just because I was connected to a lot of the old guard because that was when I was going into Bungie HQ and like meeting people. But yeah, I see it just as much. So I don't know if they're adding a lot of staff. I bet you that they're adding some, but I don't think it's like
there's a very large amount of retention bonus right now, so I don't think they're losing that many.
The retention is to stay at Sony, not to stay at Bungie, which is why I think there's going to be a brain drain from Bungie. I think they're going to go work on other Sony projects.
Well, next time we have
10 live service games in 5 years. 10 live service games in 5 years.
Well, if they consider Gran Turismo a live service, they need to get their stuff together. Yeah, I was like, I'm not touching that Sony franchise because they messed it up.
Check going clear. It's going to be nice, man.
What do you think, Cog? Because we're both on. I'm not going to hear about Nightfall before 2023, just because I don't know. Because if they put that date all the way out to like May. I mean, even like Game Awards is the soonest I'd see it at that point, which is technically like December, late December. But
when do we think Nightfall's dropping again? What was it?
I mean, if you go 15 months like it was for Witch Queen, then that would be May. Because if you go February 22nd or whatever that date was, go 15 months, it'd be May 22nd.
It'd be
no way, it's May.
I think it's earlier or later.
When do you think?
Later. I think it's fall of next year.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I don't. Okay, so they pulled out the 30th anniversary to fill a gap in Season of the Lost.
Right.
I don't know if they have another one of those
that's a tremendous gap
to fill a hole. Now, granted, maybe the Sony Infusion's like we're good, we're comfortable, but also like, can you have a 9-month season? Do you do that? Do you do the last season?
And I think they just add seasons.
But then the live season, the live service is now making. Okay, but we haven't paid for that though. Is that going to be an additional charge now for the bonus season? Because I paid for all of years 4 content, season 8, 16, 17, 18, 19.
Right. Could be free seasons. Could be part of what you get if you pre-order the new thing that they haven't come out with yet. We'll give you the 2 seasons in advance. There's stuff like that. I don't know, man. It just 15 months seems so fast. I feel like we just got done playing Witch Queen.
But I mean, that thing's been in development for a while. If you look at what was the arrow graph from GDC or something?
Yeah, like in development, pre-development.
Yeah, it's like that stuff's going for a while. I don't know. Like, I would probably say May, even if it's like May, June. That's a long time for however they space their seasons.
That's a long time, and that would assume that there is going to be like another season of the Risen. No, what was the one that Marisol
Lost was the 6th
season of the Lost? That's going to assume that there's another season of the Lost like delay, right? So I don't know if it's that long. That means that would be over a year since Witch Queen.
It's going to be over a year no matter what.
It was over a year from Beyond Light to Lightfall.
Yeah.
Travis
was
15 months. With the delay, though, right? Yeah. With a delay that kind of slowed things down for them.
But do you think the only time they've ever successfully released Destiny content with a year turnaround was under Activision, which everyone who's worked at that company says was unsustainable. Right. They had to grind a ton, all this other stuff, and they were not working remote. Right. They're not dealing with all of the COVID stuff that happened probably right in the middle of the development of Nightfall. Right. Like all this stuff just makes me think that like if they pull it off a year to 15 months, I will be incredibly impressed. But I look around at all the game delays that are happening in 2022 and it makes me feel like there's just no way that a company that is calling itself remote first is moving at that speed, because I have also started working for a remote first company since COVID and everything moves slower. remote first companies.
It's possible. It just would be surprising to hear it, to say like, okay, we're not getting a new expansion theoretically until May of next year. That's a long time. That's a long time. And then you have to put seasons in between. You see, the problem they have is they still have to supplement content with a delay. They're not free like other games. Other games can delay and say, work on that content that you've delayed. No, they have to give us something.
Yeah, that's when you'll get Wrath of the Machines. That'll hold you over.
You know what I mean? We've been down this debate before, though. At some point, do they actually have to supplement that delay with something else? They pulled a 30th anniversary out of their butt.
They pulled the 30th anniversary.
I get it, but I was like, but just gonna make up another season?
It's not about just making up. We're forgetting fiscal years, y'all. They gotta make money. They gotta give us something that we have to buy to help keep the lights on.
I know. I get all of this. Believe me, I am very curious how this journey goes because I can see it. At some point for them, they need to be able to just like focus up. But as you said, the live service, you can't. But then you're asking people to pay for this like bonus expansion pack as a filler thing. And they did that once, so they're going to be able to get away with it again with the 30th anniversary, since some of the horse stuff, the Star Horse stuff was kind of free to some people. But then we got Grasp of Avarice, Galahorn.
By the way, I am not saying that I don't think that they'll not be able to hit a year because like they're slow or whatever.
No, I know you're not saying that. You just talk about development.
A year is unreasonable. I think a year is unreasonable for a mainline expansion if they want it to. I do. I think it's too little time. Think about
like
the
4 and 5
other
years.
games.
Like God of War is going to be 4 years if it hits this year.
Yeah, it's way too quick. I honestly think
how long did Halo take? 6?
It was like 7 years. Yeah,
I mean they put out content faster than most anybody. So again, we're knocking on them for being like, oh, it might be 15 months. They're like, can you guys not? I mean, granted, it's not like a full game. They added Throne World, Raid. It is the scale of what they build again. So that may be the point where, Travis, what you're saying is how much do we get for an expansion? Yeah. And that might be the question, is how much do we get?
Yeah. There's another component I've been thinking about as well, which is that I personally think that they probably will switch to an 18-month release model. I think it'll take them 18 months to do Lightfall. And then after that, they're going to be like, hey, Final Shape is going to be 18 months from now, and they'll probably just stick on that schedule. But the other thing is, even if they don't release Lightfall on time, they have something else that they're definitely going to be announcing today, which is Matter. They're going to be announcing that this year. I mean, one would assume they're starting to hire PR people and stuff, we're saying. So you usually don't hire marketing until you're ready to announce your product. So that's already started to happen. But Matter could end up being what they direct people to. We don't know what that is. If it has any sort of crossover where you bring your character into something else, or it has some sort of tie into Destiny, we have no idea.
I would doubt there's any tie into Destiny, so they don't alienate anybody who's like, oh, this is a Destiny thing. I don't want to get into that.
Yeah. You might be right, but they've also said that they want to expand their franchise and conquer the world and all this other stuff.
That's where you got TV shows and then a game.
Yeah, but TV shows have the same alienating problem. They're going to make a whole TV show and then say, well, you have to have played Destiny, right?
I'm not saying they're going to do what Arcane did, but I mean, I've never played League of Legends, but I haven't watched it yet, but it's like, I want to watch the Arcane show on Netflix, and I've never played League of Legends a day in my life, but I've heard that show is fantastic if it's done well.
But did you watch it?
I haven't yet, but I was like, that's just because I suck at watching TV and I have way too much stuff to watch.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of the same way, but I'm also like, it makes me less likely to watch it if I haven't played whatever the source material is.
But that was the thing I actually heard about that, is like people, if I've actually heard the funny thing is like, if you didn't know anything about League of Legends, it actually was better because you didn't know. You didn't have any idea what was going to happen with these characters.
The same thing with The Witcher. So I don't think that is a block. I think, to me, the thing that they're going to have to worry about is, like you said, Matter is coming. We know the development cycle. We know the pandemic. I am very curious. Again, I know everyone's poo-pooing the Sony acquisition, but I'm very curious how much they're going to ramp up, because they got a lot of projects, which requires manpower, which requires hiring. So to me, 2023, they got to go full tilt with still supporting Bungie, supporting Matter, and then all these other projects. There's a reason why you signed this contract, because clearly you didn't feel that you could do this on your own. You know what I'm saying? So I want to know when that hits. To your point, yes.
Or you're cashing out is the other option.
That could be the option too, but I still think they believe enough in Destiny when you assign Luke Smith and whatever to be the surveyors of the Destiny cinematic universe. You plan on being around for a long time. You know what I'm saying? So,
I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that. I don't think that their reasons for signing with Sony are the ones that we think. And it's pretty telling when you read their PR statement and they don't mention Destiny improvements as being a reason until the very end as like a throwaway line, and everything else is about how they want to make movies and songs on Sony music and stuff. And it's not that wasn't they wanted to drop a hot single on Sony music. That's
I
why
don't
they
think
sold.
they're gonna go out there and say, because of the grandiose plans, you're not going to sit there and dominate the press release with one game and talk about all the things you're going to do in one game on a press release. You're going to talk about the grandiose thing. Look how great it is in the long-term future. To your point, yes, there's a lot of other things mentioned, and we got to hold them accountable and see if Destiny is sacrificed as a result, so to speak. I don't think so. I think that.
Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, say it.
No, it'll be the next topic. So finish yours.
Okay. No. I was gonna say I just don't. I'm not on the Trav train. It's so evil that they side with Sony. I think it's gonna help the game. I think that they've shown that they. I'm on the other side with this. I think that they have shown by themselves that they cannot support Destiny consistently. And with Sony's help, yes, they're going to be making live services, but you need to hire for that, right? And to me, that seems like they're going to get everything that they want, which is the resources to do these multiple things. It's up to them to execute, though. I will give you that.
I think that they want the infrastructure, and I think that they're going to lose a lot of their own employees, even if they don't want to. I'm not saying Bungie sold because they want to kill Destiny. I'm saying that it might be a side effect where Sony is offering Bungie employees higher money and saying, hey, you got your loyalty money we set aside for you guys. Come work on this other project that's more exciting where you'll have a better job title and you'll get to carve your own path. And that's super tempting. Even if I was working on Destiny and somebody told me that, I'd be like, that's kind of a good idea. Like, why not do that? And when that happens, then you lose the brain trust that's working on Destiny. And that's what I think will happen. But I don't think it's Bungie going, oh, we're selling out because screw the players. I just think they're like, hey, we want the infrastructure and Sony wants our expertise on live service games, and they're not taking into account maybe the repercussions of that, the culture that you lose when you sell your company. And I think Bungie sold their company too soon because I wanted them to become the next Activision and kind of fill the void of these large companies that are being sold off.
Right.
EA is probably going to get bought.
I feel you.
And I just, we've got very small companies and then we've got the enormous titans, but we don't have, we're quickly losing those middle class developers. And I wanted Bungie to be one of those. So anyway, I don't know how we got into this, but yeah.
No, it's a good discussion. The last point I'll say, because I just had this conversation with Manny on Duke, and I just think times are changing, man. The video game business is too expensive to take a loss, and I think this is why you're seeing the middle guy take the bag. Because if you mess up, you're out of here. Yeah. Destiny is an anomaly. Let's just be honest. There's nothing like this. This game should have been dead from 2014. Let's be honest.
It's like a cat that had 9 lives.
It just won't die. It's something about it. They are very fortunate. And I just think this industry, that's why you're seeing all this consolidation in the games industry. And they sat there and they looked at their long-term options. If they continue at the rate they're going and with the content rate that they produce, they probably said, this is the better alternative if we look at the books. And I think that's what's going on here. But look, I'm with you, Trav, morally, and I love the idea of the middle guy being able to sustain and do on his own. I just don't know if it applies in this climate in the games industry based on the way consolidation works.
I mean,
and people think sustainability.
Completely disagree.
We'll just agree to this.
If anything, Bungie proved that they can do it. They've been growing and raising money, and they're making all this money with microtransactions, and they're still going to do it.
You're the one who doesn't like currencies and Eververse and all this other stuff.
I know, but
they keep he talking about isn't it great? This guy complains about everything that they reuse. They clearly need help.
That's my job. I'm a critic, but they don't need help. They literally had just raised hundreds of millions of dollars. Right before the acquisition for Bungie, and they were building the new campus. They're doing all this stuff, and I honestly think it's like uncertainty and the recession that's probably coming, and other factors like that. Plus the fact that the people who own it, they probably got a really good offer from Sony. Actually, we know they did. Sony overpaid probably, and they wanted to cash out. There's that personal incentive. So I get all the reasons. I don't blame anyone at Bungie. I don't think Sony's evil. I think Sony made a super smart play on this because they need live services in their back pocket, and this is huge because that's the one thing they suck at doing, right? They don't have any online games really.
Single player.
All single player, also known as boring. You casuals.
Really not. God.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
This guy,
I like single player
guy
games
in this
too,
window, granted, I'm probably not pointing the right place. So maybe this side is your hashtag just one. This guy's our cynical critic, and I'm somewhere between them. Shout out to Alex Kilgore. I have no idea what we're talking about, but I want more PvP support. Also take my money. So he's apparently on board for the journey. Just please give him some PvP love. Question for you guys, because Blackwings brought it up. Do you think Destiny 2...
I love you, Alex. Just want to say.
Do you think Destiny 2 will be supported on PS4 and Xbox One through Final Shape?
Yes.
Final Shape, though.
That's what I'm asking.
Because it's the same engine.
Final Shape is 2020.
Well, by this math, yeah. Probably August of 2024 if we're going on this 15-month cycle, and that's a generous cycle per Travis.
That's generous. Yeah. I would say
no way it comes out before
2025. It depends on the chips. Because nobody can get these consoles. They're not going to Travis's point, they're not going to do it until
actually will say I've seen that getting better.
Right. But until it's a consistent thing where people get these new consoles.
But like, okay, so Lightfall, middle of 2023.
No, we still on.
Then at that point, Final Shape is probably it's your last. But I mean, okay, but are you going to do your last expansion for your 10-year franchise and leave that?
I mean, technically they did it with what you call it? When did they drop?
Did they do it then?
When did they drop what you call it support?
PS4.
When did they drop 360 and PS3 support for Destiny? Around what expansion was it?
That was Rise of Iron.
It was Rise of Iron. Yeah. So that was after, that was post Taken King, an expansion.
Yep.
I think it's all the analytics for Bungie, man. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I think they'll probably play it by ear, but the fact that they're supporting so many platforms and it's sort of the future, right? They're also, you can play Destiny on the cloud. I know they're not on the Steam Deck right now because of anti-cheat, but I assume that they'll probably get there eventually. So I don't think until they change their engine they're going to do it.
I don't think they ever change the engine.
Oh, they will after
when you think they
Final Shape. After Final
Shape, they have to. They have to.
You can't not change the engine. I mean,
I was like, it's Halo already hanging for
17
on.
years.
It's already hanging on. It's hanging on right now. Like I hope, and believe me, it's like I have my moments between whoever I'm like chatting with and stuff. After Final Shape, it's time.
Right, but here's the question: what do we consider changing the engine? Let's define that. So I'm clear what you guys both think is going to happen. Define what's changing the engine to you guys. You think
they're going to build a new engine?
Okay, so
I bet you they're already building it.
So do you think really reiterating on what's existing and upgrading that doesn't count? Like you're talking like a scrap, and then it's like a brand new foundation. Like what are you defining as a new engine though?
I would say from scratch. Like, I mean, you know, if you
I'm not a developer,
like God of War and God of War 2, this is like this is resistance to Horizon Zero Dawn. I think it's got to be well, I don't know if they go Unreal 5 because they do love their own in-house tech, and of course, you know, it's like that's fine.
That spaghetti code is very specific spaghetti.
I get that, but also at a point when you do end a franchise, then they have a chance to be like, all right, your character, this Guardian, can live here. Now is that time to go forward. It has to be a full rebuild after that. Has to.
I don't know if it's a full rebuild or not because I saw the Blam engine for Halo get maintained for 17 years. But I will say this.
Go ahead.
Fans had better hope that it's a full rebuild.
Yeah, it needs.
They should be hoping that it is.
It needs it.
Not,
it needs it at this point.
If it's not, I don't want to hear Mr. Moneybag Sony one more time. If they don't do a full rebuild of the engine, I do not want to hear you talk. I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear you talk about how Sony gave them this freedom to do whatever they want. I don't want to hear about
it. So the check gonna clear. Now the checks are coming now. Oh, to the game.
The checks have come, and they don't use it to do a full rebuild of the engine. Y'all got conned. Okay, that's all I have to say.
Well, the check ain't gonna go to the movie. It's gonna go to the game. Then okay, I got you. I see how this works.
Well, it should be going to the game. That's my whole problem with the press release and them selling. It should. They should
like that movie talk. It is
sold out.
I think you freaking out. I think you freaking out. I think you having your old man moment. I think you looked at that press release and you counted how many times the word destiny and your keyword finder came up, and it came up one time. You're like, they don't care about the game.
No, dude. It hurts me because Bungie was the chosen one, and I wanted to see them choose to grow on their own and get to that level, and I believe that they could do it because I think they have the right people and they've got the right culture and they're awesome. And when you sell, you lose a lot of that. That's why I was upset, and I think they sold for the wrong reasons. But I'm not an old man. I get it, dude. When Activision got bought, I was like, "Good, go away."
You're about 70.
I'm way younger than you guys. Shut up, you guys.
No. And at heart, you are about 72.
He's got old school values. Gaming. He does. Trav. Sony had the high ground.
I have no problem with Sony in this. I have a lot of problems with Bungie. I don't think Bungie should have sold. Sony was playing 3D chess.
Old man shakes his hand at Cloud.
You better give me.
Just because I have the exact appearance and personality of Bernie Sanders does not mean you guys can treat me in this manner. This is so offensive.
I love you. No,
you got more hair than Bernie, I'll give you that, but that's about all.
Barely.
I love it.
You've seen just about as much sun as him, so
I will say though,
more.
If PvP get a revamp under the Sony era, I'm going to talk. I'm going to talk crazy. If he get his ranking system under the boy, I would come here with PlayStation shirt.
I think I'm going to get my ranking system anyway. But how much do you think that costs? $50 to build?
You got to any improvement from 2023 on.
Oh, give me a break. Yeah.
You got to bend I'm going to wear Sony stuff, and I want your undying fealty to Sony's checks.
Anytime they add something that you like, we'll blame Sony's money, and anytime they add something I like, we'll blame the money, the millions of dollars that they raised before they sold to Sony. How about that? That's what we'll do. We'll divide the currency. That's the budget, okay?
Hey, that's what you love the most. All these different currencies. It's right in your wheelhouse. So
hilarious.
You know, I've never been accused. I mean, I have been accused of acting like an old man, but not having old ideas. I'm a stout defender of live service and doing things the new way, and I work in tech.
I'm giving you a hard time on this one because I do feel
I'm grumpy. That's true. I'm a grumpy, pessimistic person. But
no, mine's more. I think obviously no acquisition is going to be immune to influences of the company that buys them. I get that. Sony is not going to have zero influence over what Bungie does. Sure, I get that. But I also think you're reading way too far in and being like, okay, so we've got Luke and Mark Noseworthy who aren't even on the game anymore. They're hiring other teams for this other stuff. And Sony has a production for whatever they do. There's going to be like a collaboration of people above the people making the game. It's not going to be like, hey, we need Tom that we just had on the show, and then we've got Justin Truman, and we've got Joe Groth. I need you guys to come over here to Sony Santa Monica, and they're going to strip out Bungie or anything like that. I don't see Bungie trying to run over Destiny with like the Sony bus, and I also don't see Sony trying to screw up the one live service that they've actually got. That's the other thing is Sony has like, this is the one that currently is working. We need to try and maintain that one and still build it and contain it.
To be Sony,
to be clear, I'm not saying that Sony is going to do any of that intentionally. I'm saying that it'll happen organically because they're part of the same company now, and Sony's going to be like, hey, we have this new exciting project. Do any of you guys want to come work on it and have a better job title at this other development studio? And that's how it happens. It's sort of just like a gradual, hey, it's all in the family, let's move out. But then after a while, you realize that none of the same people work on the game, and I do not think Sony is evil here. I think Sony is playing a very smart game. I like them as a company. If anyone was going to acquire Bungie, I would have had it be Sony. I just didn't want anybody to acquire it. That's all. You want it to be Microsoft?
Yeah,
I
don't
would
know.
never have guessed. I would never have guessed the LordCognito of the Phil Dominus Maximus Aurelius Spencer.
I just like that Phil
Lordship
like
and worshipship.
Listen,
would have liked to see Microsoft acquire Bungie. Would never have guessed.
You're absolutely right for clowning, but here's the thing.
Of course I am.
I like when executives game, and I like when the executive's favorite game is Destiny. So it's like, yo, let's do it. Let's do it.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
That
That is pretty dope. I'll give you that.
Oh,
but
question for you,
the reason I would have chosen Sony is because I think they need Bungie the most.
Yes,
and I don't know if Xbox would know what to do with Bungie. I think that they would just say, "Hey, we're already doing this, so you guys just keep doing what you're doing." So that's all.
Attic has a question for Trav. Can Bungie have been their own Riot Games if they grinded enough? He wants to hear what Travis has to say.
I wouldn't use that company as an example because
they have
Riot Games.
They
have some problems,
Mhm.
but yeah, I think they could have become like the new 2K type studio, the new Ubisoft or EA, because there's going to be a void of those types of studios with all these massive acquisitions, and no one's filling it right now. It's sort of like the death of the middle class, like the death of the middle developer / publisher is kind of happening in slow motion in the industry. And so I saw Bungie seizing the opportunity when they were announcing that campus building and all the other stuff, all these hires that they were doing before the Sony acquisition. I saw them filling that void in the coming years, with Matter hopefully being a hit, and them doing other stuff and expanding the franchise. I was dreaming of that future, and it was sort of just they sold out too early. I think you always want to sell your company, but I think you sell it eventually, and I think they sold it a little too early.
Well, I mean,
right after, might I add, they spent a year apologizing to us, pardoning their dust, because they had just gone through all of the effort of being independent. We're an independent. We have this vision for an independent Bungie and an independent future, and they were selling us the dream, and then they gave up on the dream before the dream even started.
Said Sony overpaid for him. They made him an offer they
did.
couldn't refuse.
That's what I think. Again, I'm not blaming anyone here.
I know.
Sony made a great call. They bought the right company. It was a good price. If I was a shareholder of Bungie, I probably would have voted for it too. I get all the reasons, but you can still be disappointed.
He said that he said Riot had a lot of successful games. Do you think Bungie would have made successful games like Riot did if they would have kept the whole format? Okay.
Hell yes.
Okay.
I think their biggest issue is that they were figuring out their new identity post Halo, and that they were getting IPs under their belt that they owned. But I think that Bungie's incredibly talented, and if they would have stayed independent and kept the culture that they have, which is, let's face it, one of the best cultures of any studio out there. I think that they could have become that successful and that big on their own. They're still going to be successful. I just think that they could have done it in a way where they could have controlled more of the industry and more of the conversation instead of selling at the point. I just think they sold early. They should have sold 10 years from now.
So I will say what Cog is saying, though, is like the middle level developer is in a hard spot, because you've got big guys obviously looking at acquisitions, little ones who have, they'll work with some of the smaller publishers like Annapurna, Devolver, and those type of ones who usually have some good stuff that come through them, and they curate those. Bungie being in the position that it is, and this is where I wonder if something like a Cyberpunk will scare a studio, because like, what if Matter doesn't hit? What if
you flop? That out of here.
And that's what and financially it's like, that's part of one of those times where if they look at that and it's like, we want to be independent, but then they see something like Cyberpunk go and almost cause that company, I mean, it's not done because obviously they're making Witcher 4, but it hurt big time. And and that's one of those things. I wonder if that's even a factor in there, if it plays in. But I mean, when you say the middle people are kind of going away, it does. If you get big enough to be noticed, you're also you have a target on your back at the same time, and it's tough. But I was like,
but people used to hold out.
I mean, I get that. And
Ubisoft did, and now they're worth way more than they were when all those people were trying to buy them.
Yeah,
so,
they have
and also
a whole bunch of chaos going inside their studio too. So
I also don't think that there's as much danger as you were presenting for Matter, because you know what other game flopped when it came out? Destiny. And you can fix a game when it flops if you put the time into it.
You gotta admit, Destiny is like a miracle story.
Exactly.
Of how they fixed, and people even still care. Like,
but that's normal now.
I don't know what live.
Even Cyberpunk, dude. Cyberpunk had a refresh this year, and I'm actually currently in the middle of a playthrough for Cyberpunk because it's a very good game now. So
I mean,
yeah,
Kevin in chat mentioned Gearbox. They've had some. I mean, they tried to do Battleborn? That one definitely was.
I would argue the Gearbox problem was culture based.
I mean, Randy's a whole different problem in there. Yeah, that guy seems like a trainer.
Yeah, but I don't think they had the same talent and culture.
But it's like that's that weird little. That's not little, but that's that level where those debates. Okay, we are strong enough. We have the cash flow coming in. Let's try and make it matter. That flops. That's a lot of investment to see crash.
Yep, 100%. And I would throw their own words back at them and say, "Be brave."
Yeah, that sounds nice, but like I said,
well, I mean, and then take COVID on. I was like, take the pandemic on top of that. Take the pandemic on top of that. Now, just like
I think that had a lot
risk of everything else. Like, take the financial risks of just what that does to everybody now. Jobs are a little harder to come by. Things are wages, everything. It's just a combination of a lot of things and timing.
Yeah, no, I acknowledge that the socio-economic situation and the pending recession everybody's kind of bracing for. I 100% get it. I would love to be able to step into the alternate reality where they didn't sell. I want to see the multiverse, and I want to see Bungie like revolutionize the industry by leading from the front. And I feel like they can't do that anymore. That's all.
What's your last question? What's your over under on the relationship, the marriage staying a marriage?
I think it'll be fine.
Okay.
I think they won that contract negotiation.
I think so
Bungie.
Too. I think Bungie won that.
I've never heard of a contract like that. Like that's.
I've never heard Sony not make those like the fact that Destiny wasn't exclusive. I knew it was a lot, but that was a big deal. And like they were bold in these statements, and they're still kind of bold.
Now, did that happen after Activision?
With what? As far as
it happened. Well, like. So there was the fear of the
there was the
fear of the FTC for the Activision saying, and then Activision's like, oh, Call of Duty is going to be on all platforms. And I guess that could have been one of those things to like smooth a little bit, but also, I mean, I think Bungie won the negotiation big time. I mean, for sure.
I think it was because Bungie won the negotiation. They said, look, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it this way. Right. Because we have no need to sell. We're not up against the wall like Activision. We're not getting sued by the state of California and attacked by our own employees publicly. So they did not feel the need. So they were just like, look, you're going to pay us way too much. A lot of that's going to be for employee retention, and we're going to be able to have full control. And Sony was desperate enough to get into the industry of live service that they said, fine. I think that's why if this relationship doesn't work, then no relationship with Bungie will.
Yeah, this is
for real.
Yeah, I agree. They got everything they asked for. It's like overpay, and Sony gets. Yeah, I completely agree with that.
And I don't think Microsoft would have done the deal as.
I don't think Microsoft would have paid that. Yeah, I completely agree. That's why, to your point, it is the perfect fit. Even though selfishly, I would have liked Microsoft. This makes more sense, and this relationship is better for Bungie.
Just keep that in mind when Destiny becomes Sony exclusive.
No,
just kidding. I don't think so.
But yeah, I mean, for this, obviously, this is one of those random times. I'm like, there's nothing to talk about, and we are at an hour and 45 minutes, so we get off on tangents, and hopefully you guys enjoy the shows like this.
No, we made it hot.
I mean, it was fun. That's the whole point.
We don't have anything to talk about in the TWAB, right?
No. Freelance trials this weekend. Done.
Freelance trials.
That's
done.
it.
Cool.
That's literally it.
Noise.
Please make that permanent. That's all I gotta say. Just make that stuff permanent.
Yeah, please.
Oh, I will say. Oh yeah, sidearm's gonna get fixed. No, there was one. Alex Kilgore dropping the super chats. He's like, for Travis with love. That was one of them. And then what's the time frame for you to see Bungie and Sony? Do you see it lasting longer than Microsoft or shorter? He expects them to break up with their.
Yeah, we just answered.
I don't think that they will.
I think that can't work. Then
I could see maybe in 10 years some of the key Bungie employees like Luke Smith or Pete Parsons going off to start their own company, but I don't think it'll be Bungie. I think Bungie's going to be Sony's.
The other question that I saw a little bit of language and a little bit of a jab, so we got to keep this kind of short. Travis, you can't go off the rails. So there's a reason why.
What's this?
Get that bird seed ready. Trials of Osiris Freelance is back. The first freelance Trials of Osiris weekend for Season of the Hunters is on the way, which means more opportunities to check out the ultra competitive PvP mode for any that are conscious or curious about what it has to offer.
Say that word again. Wait, repeat that. No. Repeat that sentence.
Which means more opportunities to check out the ultra competitive PvP mode for those that are curious about what it has to offer.
I love his disgust. I can't lie. I get joy when you get mad on certain things. I ain't gonna lie to you. You have the best upset faces on certain things.
I just agree to disagree, I guess, on that one. I have no words for that.
Ultra competitive, Trav.
Yeah.
That's how they envision it, man.
I would call it it is ultra competitive in that you are competing with their terrible matchmaking system. That's really it's a PvE mode where you're playing against the computer that's putting those terrible games together. Yeah, I don't know, man. They need to redo it. We've talked about it a million times. I'm 100% okay with freelance. I just think that if Trials isn't going to be the comp mode, a ranked mode, a skill-based matchmaking situation, then they need a mode that does do that. And I don't care if it's Trials or not. I was
like, freelance should be permanent, and then the flawless pool can get the hell out of here. Both of those, because if last week, I don't know if you guys saw that whenever GCX and like the amount of the amount of people who went flawless didn't change with and without the flawless pool or something. Everybody's like, what do you know? I remember seeing all the PvP people tweeting that one. I was like, just get rid of the flawless pool, put freelance in there, put it there all weekend. Some people are worried about dividing it, but get rid of the flawless pool, and you got three. It should be 3 stacks or flawless. You should not be able to go in as a 2. That's just my opinion.
Interesting.
So get a team, or just hightail it to freelance.
Get the solo. Oh yeah, that's a happy medium. Travel like that.
Yeah.
All right, let me stop. I'm poking a bit.
I just submitted my ultra competitive resume to become the CEO of Microsoft. So it's a really, really competitive. I'm super competitive for that position. Got all the qualifications.
I like
Great.
This. I like this.
Well, next week it sounds like we'll hear a little bit about Grandmasters and some of their plans for the future. As for next week, let me look at the calendar. Next week, we've got Tony. We got Ill Physics coming back on the show.
Hell yeah.
The illest.
So we're going to have a good PvP chat, which should be fun. So spend a little time in Trials. After that, we got Amaze, Home of the Vibes, coming on the show, host of GCX's main stage. Then we've got Crit Buff. Just got featured by Bungie. I think it was literally last week. Great guy, lives in Hawaii, serves in the military, can't remember. So, and honestly, didn't know if we were ever going to get him on, and he's got his first day of weeks of vacation in forever. And then got a couple other big ones, but I got to get the times coming. Hold those for later.
Don't say those yet. Don't say those.
Yeah, we got a couple good weeks in a row, and definitely some fun guests for you guys coming up. So stay tuned. Make sure you guys share the podcast to anybody who's looking to hear anything about Destiny. Tell them about us. If you guys enjoy the show, drop a like on the channel. If it's on my YouTube channel, if it's on Iron Lord's podcast, if you guys are on Spotify, if you guys are on iTunes, leave the reviews, the likes, however you guys can support us there. It's always appreciated. But as we wrap up, that's mostly all I got. You gentlemen have anything, or we doing outros?
Shout out. Yeah, let's do outro, but I want to shout out the chat. Like, we got over 100 in here. And I remember, 2 to 4, 6, and people still here on the outro. So salute to everybody. The support is real. We feel the love. Again, everyone at GCX that came up to us, feel the love. And I start to see more people, recommend us and say, hey, give us a shot. And I do think we have a very informative and entertaining podcast. So yeah, man, salute to the last word and the homies. But Trav, what's going on with you, man? Let's do some outros. What you got going on?
Yeah, look out for my Outriders World Slayer review on Monday morning, a preview of Endless Dungeon also Monday morning, and other content on IGN. You can also watch me on Sunday mornings on a show called Bitcast, where I hang out with industry vet Ains, a gamer lawyer named Hogue, and a stock photo of a man who lives in a trailer park. It's quite a good show, so you can come and watch that if you want. And other than that, you can follow me on Twitter at TieGuyTravis. Thanks for watching, everybody.
No doubt, no doubt. E.
For me, I'm gonna work on starting my Only Calves website, so I'll be working on that.
Bro, they crazy. They crazy.
It's also spelled calves, by the way. It is CALVEFs, so the spelling was correct, even though I got called out. So,
I got only ties, so
hey, there you go. What's yours?
I just wear a tie.
Only see nothing but biceps.
Only guns. Only guns. There you go.
I don't think I want to go to the domain onlyguns.com. That sounds
not in
scary.
this country. Not in this country.
Yeah.
This is the wrong country for that. Sorry.
Sounds not like my people. Yeah.
Only biceps. There you go.
Yeah.
Only flex.
Only flex. That's right.
That's it.
No, yeah, I will be I am getting kind of my preview stuff ready for World Slayer as well. I'm going to be kind of getting a little jump on that one. Probably will stream after we do the story stuff next week. I'm guessing I'll probably switch over and do that, so that'll be most of, because I think that is the 28th. That's Tuesday, right? Yeah. So I think it should be safe to play after we get done with the story, so you guys will see Outriders. And honestly, if you haven't ever checked out Outriders, for one, it was free. I don't know if it still is. Please go play it for free. The first part of the game is, they worked out the bugs over the course of the past year, and now you're going to get more of it. So I had about 50 hours of a ton of fun. Ran into issues with friends and things like that, but I think after this year, if you haven't played it before and you're like, what's this? It's worth your time. It's a lot of fun, pretty cool. It's got some stuff that Destiny should even be doing still that's in there. So.
True.
World Slayer
really, especially now, Ebontis. I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Man, I was going to ask if they got any new achievements. Damn it. Let's look.
Actually, you know what? I'm allowed to give my unscored impressions.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, the embargo for that lifted
not.
on the 20th. Yeah. So I can tell you that I've played the game in its entirety.
Okay.
And it is a very good expansion on the end game and the stuff you can do and the levels you can customize your character and increase your power level and all that stuff. It's also noticeably less buggy than the other ones, but it's also bad in all of the ways it was bad, the original one. Like it sort of doubles down on everything.
Like the jump across loading screens and stuff like that type of stuff?
Yeah, like the terrible story continues to be terrible. Yeah. That sort of stuff. Just like all the ways that like you were like, oh, they could improve that. They were like, no, we're just going to make the stuff that was good even better, and the stuff that's bad is going to continue to be bad. And so it's sort of it's a little bit weird, but yeah, I quite enjoyed my time with it so far, and I think I'll play it after it comes out too a little bit because I played it with like my girlfriend and stuff, and they're into it. So if you guys are online, hit me up, and I'll take you through Trials of Tarja Gratar, which is the end game activity.
Yep.
Oh, wait, it's actually called that?
Yeah, that's the Trials of Tarja Gratar.
It's that's the name of it.
Yep.
It is it's basically a raid. It's sort of like a raid dungeon with boss fights, and some of the bosses have mechanics and stuff you have to figure out. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, a little mid-seasonal flow. I might have to jump up in there.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. I'll play with you. It's also got cross-play across platforms, so you can play with Ebontis and stuff.
Love it.
Yeah, it did have crossplay. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing. Keeping up with the story and the bobbleheads and solo and dungeons and lost sectors and whatever else is going on. I'll see if I get some trials in this weekend since it's freelance. Probably get some reputation there. What about you, Cog? Last but not least, do this in a different order.
IOP, brother, go check it out. Sunday's the Lord's Day. King will be back. We'll probably have Jess Cornyn of Windows Central on. We're going to be talking a little techie stuff, FX and super resolution, and talk about what's going on in all these games and stuff like that. And we got that going on. Again, look out for a potential Saturday stream to be TMNT 6 player with the Lords. We're going to try to give y'all something there. And come check out Defining Duke, man. It'll go free feeds on Sunday. We recorded it. Fun episode. We got some stuff cooking. Me and Maddie, man. So yeah, check that out. No, Lords of Gaming.net, man. I really appreciate the support of the articles and things that we're doing there. And yeah, man. Me at LordCognito on Twitter, all that good stuff. Like, retweet, the podcast, the last words.
You need to hold up like a bulletin board with all of your stuff, because it's just like you have so much stuff. It's always crazy.
Yeah, you have to, especially when you interview people. Like, you have to be ready. You know what I'm saying? So,
no, like I know you do, but I always hear some people like do an outro on a podcast, and it's like, Oh yeah, find me. And I'm like, yeah, you don't have the practice of Cog over. He's got this like whole spiel, things, places, websites, 4 different podcasts. He's everywhere. So.
Appreciate it.
All right,
salute everybody.
I'm gonna get this thing under 2 hours. So for the last word, episode number 203. Thank you all for being here. It has been. Eat this thing.
The last word.
The last word.